Welcome to Peace, Love, and Soup, bringing you a significant soup each month along with culture, cooking, and conversation.
Audio nourishment for both the heart and mind.
With Brian Delaney
and Tavé Wassail Drake.
To get the full value of joy, you must have someone to divide it with. Mark Twain.
Here we go a-wassailing along the leaves so green. Here we come a-wassailing so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you our wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. Peace, love, and soup, and a happy new year.
Oh, it brings me such joy to watch you sing. It never gets old.
You are a flatterer.
Nah. Did you call me fat? No. And your kitchen smells delicious. What have you been up to? Is that our soup?
Well, in fact, Brian, it is. In my family, we would often have this Yuletide mulled concoction called Wassail on New Year's Eve. And my grandparents, they'd either serve it in a large pot on the stove, or as I got older, they'd put it in a crock pot so that it was ever ready to warm us from the inside out.
So what does a wassail entail?
A wassail. Well, it is kind of like a mulled cider. Mm-hmm. And we'd take an orange and we'd put cloves into it. And then we'd float it in a combination of cranberry juice and apple cider and spices.
Oh.
Did you wassail as a kid?
I don't recall wassailing as a child. I do remember making ornaments out of oranges, and you stick cloves in them and hang it in the window. They smelled delicious. It smelled like Christmas.
Sounds like a great do-it-yourself holiday gift for the season. With that in mind, one of the things we always do is make the soup that we're doing that month our own. Mm-hmm. And so instead of just using cranberry juice, I decided I would also put in a plethora of other juices. So
do tell.
For you, Brian Delaney, I even put in tart cherry and purple carrot juice.
Oh, you do know me so well.
And then to make it a little bit more winter mythology-like, I also included pomegranate juice.
What are your thoughts on pushing the boundaries of soup? I feel like a reporter. Because in the past, yes, we've had Robin, who claims that wine is a soup, and I do not disagree with her on that.
And then Molly Dice even was talking about foraging and putting herbs and other wild edibles into hot water, and that would be a soup instead of a tea, and we agreed with that.
Correct, and chili is now a soup.
And obviously bisque and stew are soups.
So.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, history backs us up on this because, historically speaking, people folded whipped eggs into it and then they floated toast on top, making it a healthy Yuletide meal. In fact, wassail in Old Norse means be healthy. Plus, it's drunk from a wassailing bowl. So in my book, it's a soup.
Say no more. I'm on board. And again, it smells delish.
I'm glad you think so. I think it might be ready. So let's ladle some up and reflect back on our amazing year of peace, love, and soup.
What a gift it's been to go on this journey with you, Tavé Wassail Drake.
I feel completely the same.
Please
Brian,
don't cry.
Joseph Patrick Delaney.
I peace, love, and soup you.
Peace, love, and soup you. That's going to be this month's t-shirt, in fact. But I'm jumping ahead.
And speaking of gifts, this episode is our gift to you, our listeners.
We'll be replaying some inspirational moments.
Sharing outtakes edited for time.
And there was a lot of singing.
And laughing.
And even some crying, as I'm prone to do.
Well, that's true. And bloopers, too.
And we've also prepared a special Holidays Around the World segment of Did You Know?
It's going to be a lot of fun.
A big bowl of wassail served with chestnuts. It's a perfect soup for the holiday season.
I'm feeling a song coming on.
Wait a minute. I think I know what you're thinking.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
I'm going to add your dad to this. Jackie boy nipping at your nose.
Good old Jackie boy. What a dun-dun.
So I build another castle, and it's made out of this song. And like some Sufi singing dervish, I encant it all night long. I sing beneath your window, walls are only made of stone. And I'm your nightingale of poetry, enchanted heart and bone. And the paper crow unfolded, she read her troubadour's black scrawl. Says I'll drink the honey from your skin, so we dynamite the walls. Aye, 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 pow, aye, 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 boom, aye, 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 smash, da, 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 da.
festive music you just heard is by my multi-talented friend, author, and musician, Eric Stern. We will be featuring a variety of his original stories and compositions throughout this episode.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Really dig your music, and I'm sure our listeners will too.
So here we are, all cuddled up on this cold winter's day with a big bowl of wassail in hand, and it's time to stroll down Peace, Love, and Soup memory lane.
Let's start at the very beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
Oh, the sound of music.
And people, not to worry if you're not a fan of musical theater, because we promise this episode isn't going to be a musical one. Well, not entirely.
That's not a bad idea. But let's just replay how this little podcast all began, shall we?
Yes.
It was our first recording session. We didn't know what the hell we were doing and where it was all going.
But we created a great show template. And then we've refined and we've condensed some things. But we're still pretty much doing what we said in that very first session. And it came together pretty easily.
Yes, let's go back in time to our first recording from last January. Roll the tape. Do young people today even know what that means?
I'll ask my daughters, but probably not. Welcome to Peace, Love, and Soup. We're going to be bringing you soup podcasts, one per month.
We intend to feature special soups for special occasions throughout the year.
There may be some on-location recording as well.
A guest visitor.
And in addition to that, music.
So sit back, relax, and get hungry. Doom-ba-doom-ba-boom.
Oh, I guess here we go.
Oh my God, we're on.
Hello,
We're
Brian
live.
Delaney.
Tavé, your last name, Fashe?
Fauché, and
Fauché.
then actually Drake is my official last name. Fauché was mine, but now I have my husband's.
And I'm actually Brian Joseph Patrick Delaney, just so you know.
Wait, Joseph Patrick. Do you have two middle names, or is it Joseph hyphen Patrick?
Well, being raised a good East Coast Catholic boy,
Yes.
You always get the confirmation name.
So Brian Joseph Patrick Delaney from Boston.
But I don't have the accent. My parents do. Some people will say I sound Canadian, actually.
And also because you're so nice, they just assume you're Canadian.
Oh, I like that. I'll go with nice for 1,000, please.
It's true.
So I recall we were at the coffee station here at Kebu.
Right, weren't you saying you aren't a big cook, but then you were making soup that weekend?
Correct.
And I said, I love soup. And you said, I love soup. And we were like, wow, anybody who thinks they can't cook could certainly cook soup. So that's when we said, hey, let's do a podcast about soup, probably jokingly. And then it was official.
You're listening to Peace, Love, and Soup.
Just want to wish you guys the best of luck with your new podcast. You guys sound like you make a great team.
Thanks so much. Part of this podcast, though, is just a way to have more community with people from different parts of the U.S., different parts of the world, together around the table or vicariously over the internet or the radio.
We were so young and naive and verbose.
Oh, well, we still are. But we decided we needed to create a tagline or a branding line. And since people kept asking us what the show was about,
We came up with this.
welcome to Peace, Love, and Soup.
Bringing you a significant soup each month, along with culture, cooking,
And conversation. But it still needed some extra dollop of something. And so we added this.
audio nourishment for both the heart.
And the mind.
People are impressed.
Yeah, and they're amazed at how we could both just rattle it off like a movie pitch.
Who are you?
Oh, my name is Brian from Peace, Lemon Soup, bringing you significant soup each month, along with culture, cooking, and conversation.
Audio nourishment for both the heart and the mind.
I know it took us a few episodes to stop talking over each other so much.
Well, then there were all the like ums and yeah,
Am I laughing at everything?
and my crying at everything.
But, I feel like that really shows us as
Yeah,
people.
People would tell me how it sounded like a real program with sound effects, music, and even photos
It
too.
gives me such joy to sit in a room and talk with you, Tavé, believe me.
Especially this time of year. It's like really what it's all about. Friendship, togetherness.
And I also wanted to add how when we would be producing each new show, guided by our intuition, we'd have these
Synchronicitous moments.
to reassure us that we really were on the right track.
Good job, us.
Did you just say the Force was with us? I think Star Wars comes out today too, doesn't it?
I don't know, but then what do they say? Like all aboard or like beam me up?
No, that's Star Trek. And all aboard's like the Love Boat. Well, here we are with the next. Dun,
We'll be
da, da,
making
dun,
another
da, da.
run
Oh, wait, I'm doing the
the
Dynasty
boat.
theme.
All right, on to synchronicity.
Okay.
I think a large part of cooking is intuitive. So if your soup guides are saying it needs a little bit more, we're going with a little bit more, people.
I would have never thought to do a 6-bean chili. What a wonderful idea.
It just sort of came to us when we were in the grocery store.
We were inspired on the spot. And it happens a lot, actually.
And Brian said, well, gosh, we could just get like 1 can of each, a number of different kinds.
So it was your creativity. Very nice.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but February 4th was Homemade Soup Day.
Not just any soup day, National Homemade Soup Day. Or it's called Peace, Love, and Soup Day now in migraine.
We're going to take it over. And then today is World Radio Day, too.
We just found this out like a minute ago.
Totally.
Any thoughts on that?
I actually do. Coconut milk. It's really.
What about... Yes.
I see the light bulb above your head. Look at it go
both,
off.
both of us,
You
our
say it,
eyes
you
are
say-
shining.
Again with the synchronicity. We talked about this like an hour ago.
Let's put some coconut milk in our fresh minty pea soup.
Yes.
Okay, so tune in next month when we are going to talk about...
Some sort of Irish or St. Patrick's Day, and there's our alert.
Oh, wow. Some sort of magical soup for March.
Ooh, a magically delicious soup. Yes.
I was thinking, what about jicama?
Oh.
I have a jicama story for you.
You know that's going to be good when someone says that.
You were recently on a trip to Cuba.
Oh my gosh, I was. Yeah, funnily enough, we stayed with a family in the countryside and they had an Airbnb named Watermelon Wanderlust. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got the email from Tavé when I got
What?
back and we're doing watermelon soup.
Oh, and did I tell you? Today is National Watermelon Day. Did you hear about this? Yes. This was not planned at all, people.
We got a text from one of our listeners saying, did you know today is National Watermelon Day? Just wonderful that it all matched up with our watermelon soup for the solar eclipse.
Incredible.
I love synchronicity.
It was almost like when you showed up to surprise me and you had a pomegranate and a quince for our wassail, and you didn't even know that I plan to use a variety of fruits and nuts in our concoction.
And with that, let's go give our wassail soup a good stir. Remember how our first and only sound effect was you ladling
Yes.
while saying, I'm ladling the soup. Just listen how far we've come.
I'm ladling it. Water sound effects of the Columbia River. Ooh, that egg crack sound effect from making Pan de Muerto with Baker Dan. It's one of my all-time favorites.
And speaking of Baker Dan, I love the sound we captured of opening a fresh can of Guinness just to dump in one of his Irish soda breads.
Baker Dan's the best.
Don't forget Coco.
Oh, who could forget Coco the correspondent? In fact, she's getting into baking too.
They deserve their own segment, don't you think?
Indeed. Te quiero, Baker Dan.
Oh, wait. Should I respond to you, Te quiero, Baker Dan? Sounds like Dan's got a fan. Like that. Yes, I think I should.
One of the best things about baking bread, as we all know, is the smell. You walk into a room, your home, a bakery. I don't know what that feeling is. You get this smell. And this bread has a very specific smell. And I don't know if everybody else thinks it smells like what I think. So I want you to step up and give it a good whiff while it's still warm.
Can I ask a quick question? Why do people sift flour?
Well, I think it gives you a more accurate idea of how much flour you're actually using. You don't have clumps.
I have some information about that too. By sifting, you're getting rid of any weevils that would be in your flour.
What's a weevil?
Bugs or worms.
Traditionally in America, we work off measurements of cups and teaspoons, tablespoons. but a lot of the European recipes and actually around the world, they work off of metric weight. It's a more accurate way to get the correct amount. My wife actually introduced that into my baking.
Note to our listener, Dan's wife is from Germany.
She is. She's from southern Germany, a city called Augsburg, and her name is Eva. Hey, Eva.
And now, back by popular demand,
Peace, Love, and Soup's very own Coco the correspondent.
take it away, Coco.
You're listening to Peace, Love, and Soup, bringing you a significant soup eat month.
One more time.
That's a hard word.
That's a hard one. I know.
Bringing you a significant.
Yes.
Bringing you a significant soup each month, along with culture, cooking, and conversation. Audio nourishment for your brain and mind. Oh, for the heart and mind.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm going to be an alicorn.
What's an alicorn?
So a Pegasus is a horse with wings. A unicorn is a horse with a horn and magical powers. And so them together equals an alicorn. So it's a unicorn with wings.
Whoa.
And magical powers.
Okay, and then I have to ask you, do you have a favorite soup?
Well, can a stew count?
Sure.
My mom makes a special stew, and it's pretty much, it doesn't sound good, but it tastes amazing. It's pretty much some vinegar, a lot of ketchup, noodles, vegetables, and some meat.
And what does she call this concoction?
Well, I just call it Grammy Special Stew.
Grammy's special soup. Didn't your mom say she loved your grandmother's fruit soup? Is that what wassail is?
I don't think so. But good job getting us back on track with the soup.
Of course. And wasn't that always the case we found ourselves in each month? We'd get so wrapped up in the conversational part of the interview that we forgot to even talk about the soup.
Usually our guest would be the one to remind us to talk about the soup.
Here are some of our guests' favorite soup, in no particular order.
Spoiler alert, don't listen on an empty stomach because this one is going to make you hungry.
Noted.
Soup was a thing, and Mom's soup was like a fruit soup. Ooh, that was so good because it was such a different tasting thing. But it had tapioca in it and citrus things, oranges, stuff like that.
As you know, our podcast is called Peace, Love, and Soup, and so we have to ask you, what is your favorite soup?
Mulligatawny is a favorite. I think the kind we eat here is what the English brought back from when they had colonized India.
Christmas gumbo. It's a Cajun tradition involving shrimp, some rice, vegetables, and really, really spicy sausage.
I like red lentil soup. It's kind of beige color, thick.
I make this bacon and corn chowder, and I blend in artichoke hearts. And when the soup is done, I put the soup inside the rest of the artichoke, and it cooks it from the inside out.
Onion soup with the bread and the cheese melted on top.
Oh, like French onion soup?
Have you had that?
I love onions, but I think I love onions and garlic. I love just eating them straight no matter what. Udon, tofu, green tea noodles, and edamame. Seaweed, miso paste, scallions, and some tofu. And boom, you got a basic miso soup.
Vegetable soup, specialty, navy bean soup, tofu noodle soup. We got chili always with the cornbread. That's chili with TVP. Yeah, we're a serious soup family.
Mafi, will you tell us what your favorite soup is?
I love soup. When you would have those giant cans of lentil soup, and like on their own they would taste terrible, but then you just added all sorts of like crazy stuff to it and turned into these intense gourmet meals.
Well, I make a zucchini soup that is really delicious. And it has zucchini, onions, garlic, carrots, and you just cook that all up in like a chicken broth, and then you puree it. And you will add to that beat up eggs and Parmesan cheese.
Delicious.
It is delicious. As kids, we used to call it garbage soup, and we didn't like it. So we call it, oh my God, it's time for garbage soup, you know.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and I'm a big fan of soup. Always have been, always will be. Mrs. Grass's chicken soup, which has the golden egg.
Oh.
And a distinct version from Scotland. Are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Cockaliki soup.
It's not called cockaliki soup.
Yes, it is. It's a clear, thin broth of shredded chicken and leeks.
I assumed that we were going to talk about soup at some point.
Soup? Why would we talk about soup?
Talk to me about soup. Do you like soup? Be honest.
Not my first choice of food. Probably not my second or third either. But I mean, I'll eat it if it's around. But if I do eat it, I have to have hot sauce in it because it usually doesn't cut it for me. I like pho though. But pho's not like eating chicken noodle soup. No offense, your chicken noodle soup was good. Damn, I shouldn't have said that.
This sounds totally disgusting. Celery root soup. And it was exceptional, the most delicious, and so unexpected because I'm not a soup person at all. It never occurred to me to drink my calories, except for wine.
Wine is soup.
Let's get some Pinot Noir soup.
Oh, yeah. I think Robin will really love this wassail.
Of course she will, because we added red wine to our bowls. In fact, dear listener, you can spike up your individual wassail bowl as you see fit. You could put in brandy or wine or whatnot, and still leave the big pot non-alcoholic for others.
This recipe will be on our blog and Facebook page, along with all the beautiful photos. So, a big cheers
to us all. Brian, do you think we drink too much on the show?
Well, 'tis the season.
No, I mean all year long.
No, prove it.
Well, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So bring us some figgy pudding. So bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding and bring it right here.
I'm glad I missed this plane because now I can get drunk in some canteen near the airport where Wildflower waits on every stinking table. But I get stuck with Jorge, so pour me a tequila, Jorge. Tonight I'll drink it straight. You see, I walked to this motel because I'm too cheap to take a cab. Found a canteen underneath the overpass. And I'm not calling Amy ever in my life, or at least until the bottom of this glass.
Well, one of the fun surprises that we have for mothers out there is we're going to add wine to our recipe. We just have a bottle of some Chardonnay, and we decided we're going to add a couple of cups. Then we've got some of the bottle that you and I can still drink while we're cooking.
You could put alcohol in this, champagne or
dandelion wine and
lime, salt,
vodka and the gazpacho.
Bloody Mary.
Oh my God.
Peace, love, and soup after dark.
You could even make this recipe outside if you just ran an extension cord.
Oh, I have a story. Years ago, I was traveling in Mexico with a friend of mine, and we were far away from power of any sort. So we just actually clipped the little plug into the wall off of the blender and wired the bare wires directly to the battery of the car. Oh my gosh. We wanted to make frozen margaritas.
Can you taste the wine, sweetie?
No, I can't.
Maybe we need to dump some more in.
Today we made it magically delicious by adding my favorite, a can of Guinness.
That's fantastic.
Some Irish are offended by the association to a drunken Irishman. I actually revel in it.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Cheers.
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 What's your favorite adult Irish beverage?
Adult beverage, Jameson.
Do you have any jokes?
I don't, but I have a song that I sang to a 100-year-old nun.
I'm going to need to hear that, yes.
Yes.
My backup plan was to go into the nunnery, and then I found out that they don't want you if you're over 40. The old priest would say, I don't know about these young gals. They want to give their bodies to men and their bones to God.
I can see an old priest telling you that.
And yeah, it ruined my whole idea for a backup plan. God forbid something happened to my husband.
Are you all ready?
Yeah,
we're ready now.
set.
Thanks, Dad.
All right. Oh, there were fighters and writers and Irish dynamiters. There was beer, gin, whiskey, wine, and cake. There were men in fine positions. There were Irish politicians, and they all turned out for Sister Margaret's date.
Can you hook him up with Dion? Would you want to sing backup?
Tell Dion if he needs an old Irishman to sing backup for him.
Oh my goodness.
Well, top of the morning to ya, and a fine day 'tis, me friend. That's the greeting you'll hear every time of the year on the island of Ireland. Top of the morning to ya. Have a happy, magical day.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brian. Happy birthday to you. Love, Aunt Ethel and Alice.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, my sweet granddaughter. Hey, have a nice birthday, sweetie. I'll tell you that again.
Starts with an S and it ends with a T. It comes out of you and it comes out of me. I know what you're thinking, but don't call it that. Be scientific and call it scat. Scat.
Memories of childhood and ticks.
P's for two, and two for peas, and me for you, and you for me. And then we'll see how happy we will be together.
Oh my God, we're also going to go into recording soundtracks for Peace, Love, and Soup. You'll never find peace of mind till you listen to your heart.
I think you have been keeping things from us, Brian. You should be sharing more of your talents with us on a regular basis.
Well, just keep listening, people.
And I'm not calling Amy ever in my life. Amy, you can kiss my gringo ass.
We really did have a lot of fun. What I love, though, is when we would hit on those wonderfully inspirational moments simply by having a conversation with people, be it mothers or friends.
Or even brothers. I just 100% agree with you.
Listen and be inspired.
What does the word mothering mean to you?
It means love and raising your kids so that they're happy and they're themselves so that they can grow up and have a happy life.
You have to invest time in your children. You do, and it pays off in the end. But it doesn't mean you have to be with them all the time. You need to love them. You need to talk with them. You have to have fun with them.
Can you be mothered by other people? Have you been mothered by other people?
Oh, God, yes, absolutely.
Yes, I have. And I liked being mothered by people. I didn't like being smothered, though. I liked being mothered, but not smothered.
The village takes care of the kids.
I have an amazing sisterhood of friends who really look out for me and take care of me.
We've shared with each other how I'm like your gay husband, but sometimes you are like such a supportive mother to me, and I really, really appreciate it, and a friend at the same time.
That is so beautiful. I can't believe you said that, Brian. You're my mother.
Oh, you guys.
We mother each other.
It's a wonderful thing being able to mother and let yourself be mothered by other people. And I think just having that vulnerability, too, to allow that and also to recognize that. Any advice for other adoptive mothers?
I guess just trust yourself. I have a friend that's going to go through Foster Adopt, and I just said, know that you can reach out to people because they really do care. I think people want to know your stories.
Yeah, you can have a child, you can find the person you love, you can get your home, and those things are amazing, but I think travel is right there. I honestly think it's the most humbling thing in the world. I don't think I'd be who I am without the things that I've seen. I've had relationships abroad, I've lived in so many countries, prayed with different people, seen different things, ate so much food, and I feel like that's like what I live for.
That is what I would encourage young people. Whatever dream you have, just go for it. Don't be afraid, even if you're not accepted or your family doesn't accept it. Don't let anyone stop you in any sense. Work hard and believe in it and make it happen. Muchas gracias por escuchar y estar con Paz, Amor y Sopa. Peace, Love, and Soup.
That was so beautiful and worth repeating. And I, being a mother, particularly love those interviews we did with Molly and Wintry, Matt and Josh about children and nature.
We really did learn so much valuable information. and straight from the heart, too.
Being a mother and an educator, how do you inspire the next generation to really care about the earth and to want to be sustainable?
I think kids already have an empathy for the natural world. We just have conversations about it and foster those conversations. It's just concepts that you dialogue with the kids so that they can experience that and be thinking about it as they go through life. Every time we have kids and adults who find that passion and connection with what's going on around them in the natural world, noticing plants and animals, you build a relationship, and that creates an awareness for the environment, and they're going to be impassioned to share and conserve and protect and ask what I can do to protect the space that has meant so much to me.
I have 2 baby daughters and just really looking forward to teaching them our way of life. We call it kulchan, and that means we only take what we need. It definitely speaks of how our people lived for hundreds of thousands of years as a nation. We took care of the land, and in return, the land really took care of us. The gifts are naturally there. Everything from the natural waters, the trees that stand tall, that provide the fresh air. Enjoy it, respect it, and be thankful that you have the beautiful land.
Westwind is a 529-acre camp and environmental retreat center. We are in the middle of the Cascade Head Biosphere Reserve. We host over 5,000 people a year at summer camp, outdoor school, retreats, workshops, promoting the idea of living sustainably with nature and having life-changing experiences in the outdoors. We're built and focused on enjoying a wonderful meal and being warm inside for a moment and then getting out and be smiling and happy at the end of it.
It's always a fun time, and it's just one big family here for all of us in the Pacific Northwest. Thanks again.
Peace Village uses what you call 4 tenets to teach the power of peace. Could you elaborate on them?
When we find that sense of calm, centeredness within ourselves, we can go out into the world. We like to say we give kids a tool belt of things they can actually go out and use. So in mindfulness, we find that, right? We practice through some meditation, yoga, all different kinds of ways to just slow down and reconnect with yourself. Conflict resolution teaches specific communication skills, listening, talking about needs and wants, in connection to nature. When we spend time outside, we feel more peaceful. And then we added media literacy to teach about social media and using it for good.
What would be the most profound thing that you have experienced being a part of Peace Village yourself?
So at the Lincoln City camp, the oldest groups, the 12 and 13-year-olds, go off on an overnight and do a rites of passage. Then the next day, it's the graduation and all the parents come. And this year, one of the 12-year-old girls stood up and read this poem that she had written during the night and shared it with everyone. And everyone was in tears. She got it. She was talking about, we're going to wish on the stars tonight, and one of those wishes will be for world peace. And I just had this moment of, really? That's what we all want. Maybe we feel disempowered or we don't know how to do it. And it was just such a great reminder that we can learn the skills and we can do it within our own community. And if enough of us do it, it's going to happen.
So many good clips. It's hard to narrow it down for this year-end review.
As much as you'd like to, you just can't put everything into it.
Wait, now are you talking about the Wassail or the show?
Well, both, really. I mean, obviously, some months we would just get so excited and we would record way too much. Here's one of my favorite outtakes from an interview with musician Hiroyo Sakamoto. We're discussing his song, Takibi, which means bonfire in Japanese. Being a musician and playing these songs night after night, are you still inspired by them? Because to watch you, it seems like you're playing them new each time.
I try to be into music, and I think about the time I compose a song when I'm playing. Takibi means bonfire in Japanese. And I wrote this piece in a village where my grandparents are from. Making fire was sort of traditional, especially in the rural part of Japan. And when I was a kid, I often visited my grandparents' house. And they usually had fires. And sometimes they asked me to watch the fires and that kind of thing. And I have a very good memory of those days. And even though I live here in the States, which is far from the place, even though my grandparents passed away, when I think of that moment, I still felt connected. And about 5 years ago, I came back to this village and I brought my guitar with me and I wrote this piece in the village. And I named this as Bonfire in Japanese.
Wow. It's a powerful thing, a bonfire is. There's always something so visual about it, but it sort of transcends things that you can see and hear. It touches another part of you.
I think here in the States too, right? When you think about campfire, you recall your childhood and that kind of thing.
I do, and then it makes me forward think too to this summer and camping trips I'll take with my family.
Right.
It's always a special moment too, because when you're around the fire, you're not trying to multitask usually, and you don't have technology with you. You're just really there with yourself and nature and the people you're with.
Yeah, and just watching fires, something, right?
Yes.
And last year I had a festival in the mountain in Maine, and we camped, and it was fun. My daughter loves music naturally.
In Japan, do you play music around the fire? Often here we'll do that when we're camping.
Not that much. I think here more.
Maybe you want to start doing that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, do I have a campfire story for you.
Tell me.
In days of old, on 12th night, villagers would wassail from orchard to orchard, drinking and singing to wake the apple trees and ask them for a good harvest the next autumn.
Really?
A wassail king and queen would lead the tune, and the queen, or, get this, the youngest boy known as the tomtit, would be lifted into the branches to hang sops, which are toast soaked in wassail straight from the communal bowl, and they would offer that as a gift to the birds who are the good spirits of the trees.
Cool.
And sometimes people would even pour a bit of the wassail on the ground to show off the fruits grown from the past year.
I love learning about the history of our soups. And I think I actually dated a Mr. Tom Tit before, too.
I definitely dated a tit or two.
Oh, we have something more in common. Did he go by Tommy or Thomas?
He went by TT. Brian, did you know that when we say, let's make a toast, it refers to the toast that you float on the wassail and the well wishes for the future. And the word soup has the same origin as the word sop.
I did not know that. But speaking of Did You Know, joining us this month on a special edition of our monthly segment, we've assembled a few friends to share with us the holidays they celebrate during the fall and winter seasons.
And today, with so many of us having multicultural households and not all practices being of a religious nature, a family may even celebrate 2, 3, or more of these, some at the same time.
It's a big, beautiful, culturally mixed world out there. Let's sop up some peace, love, and happy holidays soup.
You're listening to Peace, Love, and Soup with Brian Delaney and Tavé Drake.
Did you know that Kwanzaa is a 7-day celebration of African heritage and culture? It was created in 1966 by Dr. Maulana Karenga, a professor of Africana Studies at Cal State Long Beach. After the Watts riots in Los Angeles, Karenga was searching for a way to unite the African American community. The name Kwanzaa comes from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits of the harvest. Kwanzaa begins December 26th and ends January 1st. On each of the 7 nights, friends and family gather and light one of the candles on the Kinara, then discuss one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa: unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and last, but certainly not least, earth. People also celebrate Kwanzaa with feasts, music, poetry, and dancing. Happy Kwanzaa!
Ramadan is the most sacred month of the year for Muslims, when Allah is said to have revealed the first verse of the Holy Islamic book, the Quran, to the Prophet Muhammad. Ramadan occurs in the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, which rotates backwards 10 days each year. so this holy month may occur in any season. Ramadan is a very important month in Islam, during which Muslims abstain themselves from bad behaviors. They do so in order to be able to give up bad habits even after Ramadan. During Ramadan, Muslims don't eat or drink from dawn to the sunset. The main is to experience the daily life of poor people who don't have food or water. During Ramadan, people come closer because it is a month of forgiveness and togetherness.
Did you know the Chinese New Year is based on the lunar calendar, starting on the new moon and ending on the full moon 15 days later? The holiday's date changes each year, but typically falling between mid-January and mid to late February. At this time, people honor their ancestors and deities by cleaning and decorating their homes with red paper cutouts and lanterns. Fireworks, dragons, and a parade of lanterns mark the last night when friends and family gather together to eat dumplings, which are thought to bring good fortune in the new year. 恭喜發財.
Do you know the Hebrew word Hanukkah means dedication? The holiday is named for Jerusalem's Holy Temple rededication after the Maccabees overthrew the Greco-Syrians in order to reclaim their own culture and religious beliefs. Hanukkah, the Jewish festival of lights, is an 8-day celebration which one candle is lit each night on a special candelabra called a menorah. It commemorates the miracle that night long ago when there was only enough oil for a lamp to be lit for one day. But Jewish people believe that God kept it going for 8 days as the temple was rededicated. Today, children play games including spin the dreidel to win gelt, delicious gold chocolate coins. They also eat delicious latkes, potato pancakes cooked in oil, to pay homage to the miracle of Hanukkah.
Did you know that in Germany on December 6th they celebrate St. Nicholas Day? St. Nicholas was a kind bishop loved by all who died on this date. He was well known for his gift-giving and working with the poor. On the evening of December 5th, children in Germany put a boot called a Nikolausstiefel outside their front door. Overnight, St. Nicholas, checking his golden book for each child's record, fills boots with gifts and sweets if the child was good. But if they were not, he places a stick, or in German, eine Rute, in their boots instead.
And in Austria, Bavaria, and Eastern Europe, St. Nicholas is accompanied by Krampus, represented as a demonic beast-like creature with roots in Germanic folklore. Krampus is thought to punish children during the Yule season who had misbehaved and to capture particularly naughty ones in his sack and carry them away to his lair. December 5th is Krampus night or Krampusnacht. Traditionally, young men dress up as the Krampus during the first week of December and roam the streets frightening children with rusty chains and bells.
Did you know Christmas is a religious and cultural holiday celebrated by billions of people around the world? For Christians, it marks the birth of Jesus Christ and is preceded by the season of Advent, which is a period of waiting and getting ready for Jesus' birth. The Advent wreath, with one new candle lit each week, reminds Christians of the light of hope Jesus had brought to the world at his birth. Although the exact date Jesus was born is unknown, Christmas is celebrated in most of the world on December 25th. Over time, Christmas has evolved from a solely religious holiday to becoming a secular celebration. It is the night children believe Santa Claus brings gifts to nice children and coal to the naughty ones. It is a time for friends and family to gather together to feast and exchange gifts. Every culture that celebrates Christmas has special foods of the season, from the southern Italian meal of 7 fishes on Christmas Eve to the Swedish smorgasbord on Christmas Day. Other traditions include caroling, decorating homes with lights, Christmas trees, stockings by the fireplace, and mistletoe.
Did you know that Lucia means light? December 13 is the shortest day of the year in the Julian calendar. And St. Lucy or Santa Lucia Day was girls wearing crowns of green leaves studded with lit candles in the Scandinavian homes. During this pitch-black winter night, girls wake before dawn and deliver 7 buns and coffee to their family members. In school and towns, girls dress in white robes with red sashes, wreaths light, walking in procession, singing. Boys follow behind, handing out peppermint or furnace cookies, while an edge court carries a bucket of water to put out any possible fires. In Sweden, a St. Lucia's bride is chosen and given a trip to the island of Sicily, where Lucia was from. In Italy, a large tradition feast is prepared of homemade pasta and other Italian dishes, including a special dessert of wheat and hot chocolate milk.
Did you know that Diwali, originating in Nepal and India, is also called the Festival of the New England Patriots? It is a 5-day celebration of the triumph of Tom Brady over the NFL and Bill Belichick over Roger Goodell. During the festivities, houses, stores, and other public places are all decorated with diyas, small clay statues of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Hindu people celebrate by cleaning their homes and adorning them with new Patriots jerseys and putting Super Bowl patches on these jerseys. They leave the windows and doors open so that Troy Brown, the god of everything, can enter. Diwali celebrants dress up in brand new Patriots gear, exchange gifts of sweets and dried fruit, drink beer, and watch football.
Winter solstice is the longest night of the year. The lighting of bonfires invites the sun to return in what was once the ancient Druidic holiday called Yule, or sometimes Yuletide. It has its origins in the Germanic and Nordic peoples of what is now Scandinavia, and slowly filtered to England, the British Isles, and elsewhere, including the Pacific Northwest. This pagan holiday gave us the Yule log. It is commonly celebrated with food and drink, potlucks, handmade gifts, and decorations and ceremonies that honor nature. Some people treat it as a 12-day celebration beginning on December 21st, the day of winter solstice. In my background, where we have Indigenous and Afro as well as Germanic, there's a big to-do about waiting for the sun to rise, knowing that from this point forward, things are going to get a little bit lighter, and that all the work and the effort of making it through the dark of night, whatever that means to you, and it's about reflection and reclaiming and remembering that you are somebody and your culture is somebody, and being joyful about that.
I'm having a blank.
After we've been recording for a while, we'd start drawing a blank, or else the opposite would happen, and then we would ramble, and it turns into some hilarious moment.
Some of them we leave in the show, and some we don't. But to make it simple, we're just going to call them all bloopers.
Hey, how about super bloopers?
Oh.
I'm so funny.
Yeah, you is. All right, well, here we are. Hi, Tavé.
Hi, Brian.
Hi. Oh my God, we got that down. Oh, you're not on.
It's all right.
Cut.
I love when you tease me. Alex, I'll take tomatoes for 200.
I'm trying not to slurp since I'm being recorded.
Oh, we're so cutting that out.
Sorry, it has to be part of the rooblers. You're always burping.
Oh, I can feel it. Yeah, it's just stinging all around.
You do have insurance.
I do have insurance, so if something drastically goes wrong, Tavé, it's in my wallet.
Called it 4 pots on the burner. I have to have 4 pots on the burner at all times.
I didn't tell you go 4 guys. I was the tricky triangle. I told you had to date 3 men at a time because you get too attached if you're just 1 or 2.
Well, I interpreted it as
4
pots, and one of them can be boiling, but the rest of them have to be on simmer.
That is very fascinating.
That was good advice. Yeah, it worked out great.
I wonder if I should share that with my teenage daughter.
No, not yet.
Wait, so Antonio Banderas, you never told me about that. You being in the Army, never told me about that. You are a man of mystery, my friend.
So you were in the Army and moonlighting as a hairdresser, and that's how you got your start in hairdressing. Was there any tomato throwing in the Army?
Not that I recall.
Was there any hiding of the cucumbers?
Brian
Antonio?
Get sexual.
This is probably what people want to hear in 2018.
Maybe.
This is Baker Dan signing off. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, simple is delicious.
Nope.
Remember, good doesn't need to be difficult.
Nope.
This recipe's simple, and remember, Good doesn't need to be hard.
Baker Dan is so sweet.
How about the roll? We're talking about food here, Tavé. Get a grip.
Hello. You're listening to Peace, Love, and Soup with Brian Delaney and Tavé Drake. No one did I have core.
In Andalusia, there's a tavern where they bottle all your sorrows. Wind the clock back to the golden age. I'll meet you there tomorrow. Brewed with algebra and alchemy, the Moors drink this sad libation and then sweat out strophic poetry made from the teary potion, and we'll smash the distillation of your tears against the wall, and the fountains of Cordoba will overflow with gold. Aye, 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 aye. Aye, 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 aye.
Humor.
I love it whenever we're having a long night of editing or a tough day in the recording studio, and all you need to do is pull out one of your accents and the worries and frustrations just melt away.
Please, sir, I want some more.
No, it's impossible.
Sugar peas, which the French call mange tout, for their consume pot and all, were introduced to France from Holland in the late 1500s.
Très bien.
San Morejo loves to dress up and ham it up on the dance floor.
San
Morejo.
Excuse me. Tavé corrects my French and my Spanish.
Maybe.
Bueno.
Oh, yeah, bueno. Ole.
Ole.
Capsaicin is the active ingredient in pepper spray. Variations of it are used to deter pests such as deer, bears, insects, and attacking dogs. And it goes without saying, human muggers. My Siri is actually an Aussie male.
Wait, what pasa?
He's an Aussie male.
Who is?
My Siri.
Your
on my
who?
phone.
Oh, your Siri.
I know I've switched it to the Cockney. And am I going to get to see you in your leprechaun suit?
Oh, but your Irish brogue is so spot on.
I'd never been to Ireland. I took a dialect class in college. Actually, my Irish one wasn't the best of all the ones I learned either. Pork sausage and ham thinly sliced. Onions, taters and barley enticed. It's called coddle, no troublin'. The cook's up in Dublin. They'll serve up this dish lightly spiced. Oh, goody. Cheers to your ears. Thank you for listening to Peace, Love and Soup with Tavé Drake and Brian Joseph Patrick Delaney.
It's been so long since you've done your accents.
I guess it is.
I miss them.
Jolly good cup of wassail. What do you think?
I wasn't sure at first.
I taste flavor.
Now I think wassail may be my new favorite soup.
Evidently, during our tasting segments, we tended to have some go-to descriptors.
Yours being flavor, and mine being a hesitancy towards some soup at first, but then changing my opinion to them becoming my new favorite thing in the world. This next segment describes exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my heaven. I know.
Now, once we tricked it up, it's so tasty.
Wonderful. And it doesn't make it taste too earthy either.
Probably adds a little bit of flavor, like in a subtle way.
I was hesitant at first with the turnip. I feel a mental reaction.
Based on flavor, and I think that's really something true to any sort of traditional cooking.
Well, in full disclosure, audience, I'm not a big seaweed lover. Like, I love sushi, but I have to be honest, I did take a little taste of this, and I'm kind of looking forward to the soup.
Definitely complex flavors with the apple taste from the sorrel, and then just that sort of buttery, bitter taste of these things. What are these called again?
The miner's lettuce. Not only is this my new favorite soup, which I feel like I say every month, but miner's lettuce, I think, is my new favorite green.
Really a treat. And I like having the mushrooms that were in there before to add that flavor, but then the fresh ones thrown on top as a garnish add another nice little texture to it. There's like another level of flavor.
Levels of flavor. This is one of my favorite soups now. I think I'm going to have to go home and make it again and again and again. And I will just add the spicy theater going on my tongue. It starts at the tip and then it spreads its way to the back.
I liked watching you draw shapes in the air with the spoon when you're trying to think of how to describe it.
What can I say to that? I want to say that this is a bowl of love, and it's clearly been infused into the soup as well.
never gets old.
I know.
Never.
Oh, damn it. I just spilled on my shirt.
What's going on over there?
How do you de-wassail a shirt?
How much wine did you spike this with?
I'll never tell.
If we had made those t-shirts, you could just change into another one right now, and then you'd get this much quote along with it.
Here is an audio catalog of our winter, spring, summer, fall 2017 collections.
Welcome to Peace, Love, and Soup. If you think you can't cook, you can still cook soup.
Good doesn't need to be hard.
I eat grass.
Mother, not smothered.
Que Spacho, it's for you.
You can't hurt yourself too much with too much garlic.
Good job, us.
And kindness,
go.
Love, light, and bubbles.
What is in your soil? I peace, love, and soup you.
That's going to be this month's t-shirt. Do you think people are really going to want to purchase last year's ideas?
That's the whole beauty of the podcast world. Time is all relative, depending on when our audience finds us. Perhaps this best of season 1 will encourage new listeners to start at the very beginning. A very good place to start.
I'm truly amazed you were able to speak that line without busting into song.
Well, full disclosure, it was very hard to do.
Wait, what time is it? We've got to drink up our wassail and say our goodbyes. I've got to pick up my daughter at the airport.
Tonight?
Yes, tonight, Brian.
Oh, she'll be fine.
No, we're going away on holiday.
Oh, you sound so European. Do an accent, please, Tavé, please.
Oh, you cute little bald man. I'll do more accents in the next season. We do not have time for any more of those silly things on this show today.
Wow. I've never heard you're Russian. Natasha, you're full of surprises.
Oh, Boris, you're a flatterer.
Thank you for listening to Peace, Love, and Soup.
We often leave you with a quote to ponder, but during this season that, though joyful, can be stressful and emotionally overwhelming at times. We'd like to thank that kind stranger who shared this aptly worded mantra for us to meditate on. Breathe in with your nose. Smell the soup. Breathe out with your mouth. Cool the soup. You try, Tavé.
Smell the soup. It smells delicious. Cool the soup. It's working. I feel so relaxed that I feel a song coming on. And besides, wassailing is simply not complete unless it is accompanied with song.
May your celebrations be filled with joyous song and light, and your new year be filled with peace,
love, and soup.
See you next year. Until then, I peace, love, and soup you, Tavé Faché Drake.
I peace, love, and soup you too, Brian Joseph Patrick Delaney.
They're closing the restaurant. Where will the cook sleep? Who'll make the tea for the trans-knitting club? They're closing the restaurant. What will the rats eat? They've lived in this neighborhood for years.
Thank you again, Eric Stern, for your wonderfully imaginative songs. You can find him and his music at ericsternevents.com. That's ERICSTERN events.com.
I blink, I'm alone.
If you want more information,
please go to kboo.fm/peace, love, and soup.
And you can also like us on Facebook.
Easy, just Peace, Love, and Soup on Facebook. And of course, photos can be found on both sites.
That's why I love your podcast, because it just needs the inspiration, then I can roll it out. I tell people about it, and they're like, soup, and I go, no, you don't understand, it's so much more. And it's so emotional, like there are definitely times when we just both get very moved.
Let's just keep the memories.
Mucho gusto, Portland, Oregon.
In a locket that stays.
So you say that your podcast goes on for 17 hours?
Chill out, man.